Welcome to the Right Hand Roadmap, the podcast for seconds in command of founder-led companies. I'm your host, Megan Long, owner of Second First. In each episode, we show you the path to success on your journey as the #2 leader in entrepreneurial companies. I am so happy you are here. This is an episode I've hesitated recording, if I'm being honest. I've joked on the podcast before that I have a sanitized version of my story that I share publicly of how and why I started Second First. There's 2 reasons why I have been hesitant to be completely open with you all. First, because frankly, it shows weakness as a young-ish, if you count under 40 young, entrepreneur and woman. I just have been conditioned to hide weakness throughout my career. The second reason is that I have deep appreciation and gratitude for people that I have worked for, that gave me incredible opportunities, experiences, mentorship, and I never want my story to paint them in a poor light. But that's just it. It's my story. So my disclaimer is that I have immense gratitude, and even in dark times, every single experience put me on my current path. And for that, I'm even more grateful to them. So here we go. To catch you up, I'm Megan Long, the founder of Second First, which is an organization that provides coaching, training, and community to the second in command of entrepreneurial companies. So think COO, chief of staff, director of operations, etc. My background is I'm a CPA. I practiced for 4 years at a global firm and was recruited to join a growing entrepreneurial company as their controller. From there, I was given more and more departments, and soon I was promoted to vice president of finance and business operations, and then chief operating officer. And I was there for about 10 years. Even with a CPA, a master's, winning professional awards like 40 under 40, I still felt like I spent every day figuring it out. It was while I was in that position that I quickly realized that there wasn't much in terms of professional development or community out there for me. I have since created an executive coaching and training framework specifically for the second in command that we now use at Second First. It's exactly what I wished that I had during those 10 years. The partnership my CEO and I had was really productive, and there was a lot of trust. Not to say it wasn't hard. I'm sure he would agree as well. There were some definite rough patches in both the business and the partnership, but honestly, that's reality. That's just part of it. It's really as close to a marriage as you can get in the business world. There were a few years where there were family matters that 100% took priority to the business, and my CEO had to be a little bit more hands-off. That was fine. We had a great leadership team, and there wasn't really anything I couldn't do, especially since I was also managing the financial side of things. I think it gets really tricky when a #2 leader doesn't have, signatory authority, access to bank accounts, etc., and they're thrown the keys. It's almost impossible to properly manage a business without total access and transparency. But because I did, from a day-to-day operational standpoint, we were fine. One of the things that I hear the most often that is a frustration of anyone in the second in command seat is not having a clear vision or strategic goal that they're working towards. So I think for me, that was a period of time where even though everything was running just fine in the business, I personally felt a little aimless and untethered because I didn't have any big overarching goal that I was working backwards from. It was really just keep everything operating, right? So fast forward to 2020, which was already arguably the worst year we've ever experienced. Before the pandemic, there was a tornado that ripped through Nashville in February. It hit our office and it ripped the roof off of most of the building. I drove down the next day to take photos for insurance and grab a few things that we needed just to keep the business operational. And the rest of our staff implemented our disaster recovery plan. Amazingly, we were back up and running by 8 a.m., which was absolutely incredible. My team and I figured out how to really make this work overnight. So, a PO box to accept checks, emailing clients to let them know what changes to expect, getting equipment to employees' houses so they can continue working, setting up a temporary war room at a client's office. We had to set up check printing and scanning at my house, all of that. Oh, and dealing with insurance claims. So that was February 2020. Then, not even a month later, the pandemic hit. We had clients in hospitality and tourism that went out of business almost immediately. I'm figuring out our PPP application on my own and submitting that. I'm on video calls with other business owners collaborating on how to survive. I'm ripping out every single expense that isn't necessary, praying for the PPP cash to come through, which it did, and also putting together offers for clients at reduced rates to keep revenue coming in. Because even if it was reduced income, we didn't want our clients canceling our services so they could survive. My CEO who is trying to be involved as much as possible, but is still primarily focused on taking care of family. He hops on a call with the company and promises that everyone will remain employed. So I take a pay cut, he takes a pay cut. My mindset is we are utterly in survival mode. It was the most pressure I think I have ever felt in my entire life, because it wasn't just one issue, like being short on payroll or something. It was a snowball of issues, from the tornado to the pandemic to the economy to health, all of that. Like, it was just so many things at once that there wasn't a clear answer for. Take all of this and now combine it with the fact that everyone was scared in the beginning months of COVID. No one had answers. No one knew what to do in order to be safe. We were all wiping down groceries with Lysol wipes. Like, no one knew what to do. And I have an autoimmune disease and didn't know what that meant. And in the South, I'm in Nashville, as a reminder, there was a lot of division. There was a lot of arguing about it. It became very polarizing and very political. It was neighbors against neighbors all of a sudden. So combine all of that with the overarching political climate of 2020, and it just felt miserable. In a time where we should have all been supporting each other and helping each other, it felt like every man for themselves. So add it all up, and I have never felt that alone in my entire life. I'm going to preface this next part by saying that I was diagnosed with depression at 19, but never really treated it. Remember, at the top of the episode, I was conditioned to hide weakness. So anyway, there was one morning, I was sitting at my kitchen counter feeling so overwhelmed and so alone and so depressed that I remember having the specific thought, if this is life, I think I've seen enough. God, this is a hard episode, guys. Luckily, I immediately recognized that that wasn't a normal thought. And I made a telehealth appointment. I finally got on antidepressants, and my life is forever changed for the better. And I'm so thankful that that was a wake-up call for me, because everything is so much more amazing now. But that moment at my kitchen counter was the catalyst for Second First. I never wanted another second in command to ever feel alone and helpless as I did. Here's the thing. I couldn't talk to the leadership team about any of this. I managed them, and I had to show up with strength and confidence so they wouldn't worry. I also could not talk to my husband about this. I have the most amazing and supportive partner in my husband ever, but you've probably experienced this at some point in time. If you confide in them about certain business problems, they worry that you're going out of business, what this means for them, if you're going to lose an entire income for the household, etc. It's not always fair to burden a spouse that isn't in it with you with some of those concerns. So as a second in command, you're spinning things with employees and you're spinning things at home. There was nowhere I could turn for that peer support. People who got it, people who could either help or just listen. So when we say it's lonely as a second in command, this is what we mean. So this is where Second First came from. Yes, we have an amazing framework that truly delivers results. It's why we've turned it into a certification program. But to me, the most important piece of Second First is the community. Having a group of peers in your exact position to share experiences, war stories, tools, and best practices. Really quickly, I want to read to you what our members have to say. This first member said, "You should be part of Second First because you want to be part of a community. You want to grow in ways, even if you're not entirely sure how you need to grow, you know there's room for growth. Being with people like you who will be able to challenge you and accept you and support you at the same time is just a gift." This next member joined us in Nashville for our September mastermind. And he said, "It can be lonely at the top. I've been in there a few hours, but knowing that I can contact another 9 people that are in similar roles and just saying, hey, this is some of the things I'm dealing with. Having that opportunity now is going to be huge for me, for my career moving forward, just to lean on somebody because I know that they're in a similar position." And one more, I love this one. "If you're thinking about joining Second First, let me tell you why you should be involved. Number 1, community. The time I've been here, I've been able to meet and make friends. Second, being seen and being heard. You're going to be validated. You are going to talk to folks who have shared experiences that you didn't even know you could share experience with other people on. And 3, just the overall value. I have learned so much in such a short amount of time, and the experience and the value I'm going to bring to the rest of my business and the rest of my people is incredible." I mean, what? I swear we have the best members. Next month, we're opening the doors to the Second First membership. There's so much I can't wait to tell you about in the coming weeks. But to get on the wait list to join the rest of our founding members that are already enrolled, visit secondfirst.com/membership. Also, follow Second First on Instagram and LinkedIn to stay up to date. To find show notes and links for anything mentioned in this episode, visit secondfirst.com/30. Be sure to subscribe to catch future episodes and leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening on. Remember, you don't have to navigate being a second in command alone when you have the right hand roadmap.